I'm here on this riverbed of ice today, absolutely beautiful, right? Fantastic, to talk to you about the realities of what it takes to make it. Now I'm going to talk about my football journey, but in essence this is applicable to anything that you want to get good in, as well as even just being alive, being human, okay? So most kids come up watching the football greats, right? Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Sean Taylor, whatever it is. You watch the greats and then you get inspired to rise above, do something, whether you want to have a financial breakthrough in life, an opportunity, whether you want to get rich and famous, whether you want to get strong, whether you want to be able to provide for your family for a long time, prove your mettle versus other men. There's many different reasons as to why people become inspired by certain great practitioners and want to enter into a certain field as a means to an end, to get somewhere. Now, the mistake most young athletes make is they watch the greats, then they'll go to a local Good Life Fitness most likely, or some random sports trainer, and expect that Joe Schmo is gonna get them to elite level status, or acting like the 99% of people that don't make it to the pros yet still expecting to be there. They think because they go to the gym, they watch a couple inspirational videos, do a little bit of stuff, try and eat right, they're gonna get to the upper echelon of performance. Never happens. Never freaking happens. You can't trick your way into the pros. Even if you have a semi-decent college career and a good highlight tape, it'll only get you a tryout. Or even if you make it onto a team, you get onto a roster and you get a preseason game, you're still gonna look like a goof if you don't have what it takes. The proof is in the pudding. So how do you get there? How do you do it? It takes sacrifice. You have to do things different than the other people. Emulating the ones who are unsuccessful is not gonna make you successful. This is insanity, this is madness, right? I never understand this, and so many times you have people that will see you, and because you did something, right? Me with my sports career specifically, people will approach to do training, to do this and that, but they want the status quo. They want the generic stuff. They want the stuff that all the other people are doing, average Joe's gym, but they still want to have a good college career or get to the pros and do all that. Go somewhere else. If you are not willing to do what it takes, this is not for you, and really rising to the top of any level of anything is not for you. While other people were out partying, I was at home studying, watching what the greats did, what they ate, what they watched, how they trained, how they performed, how they moved, how they studied, how they trained their spirit. A lot of people lack spirit, they lack soul. They don't have passion in anything that they do. They just want money, or they just want this, or they just want even just the social status of doing something so they get a bunch of likes in the following just because they're training football or going to the gym or trying hard. Please move aside. Now, the warrior spirit is something that is modernly underdeveloped in people. That's what makes Lawrence Taylor's highlights, besides his drug issues, look different than your high school highlights or college prospect highlights. You're just doing something. There's no passion. If you see Lawrence Taylor, if you see John Randall, if you watch these guys and you look in their eyes, look at that fighter spirit, that warrior spirit, where they're like, I'm gonna get that guy no matter freaking what. And they applied that to everything. Their training. Look at how John Randall went through practice, right? Imagine what they did in their training. Half these guys ran hills. They took sacrifices. They didn't eat a lot of junk food. They got good sleep. They were always studying. Some would study ancient warriors and emulate their practices to achieve peak performance. Because the thing about how methodologies come into practice, the good ones, is that they emulate consistent patterns. History sort of has a natural pattern that repeats itself in those that seem to rise above and ascend and excel in certain aspects of life. And it's that they don't do what everyone else does. they do certain things consistently, and then they have a healthy buffer of play and experimentation to constantly refine and improve their practice so that they're always learning and always growing. That's how people stay good at something, even though there's constant new talent and new this or that coming in that has the potential to knock them off the top. They keep on getting better. Why? Because they're learning from their environment. They're not staying the same. They're growing, they're changing, and or they're utilizing a practice that is so head and shoulders above the rest that they don't have to adapt to the rest because the rest is a lower level. Barry Sanders is the perfect example. He utilized a full spectrum training method that, not training method, because he trained generic to keep his natural talents strong, and then he would really train those patterns by performing them consistently in games and practice. So that's what Barry Sanders did. But the way that he moved is reflective of what the Spartans did with their Agoge, right? And they would train everything. Like I mentioned before, they would train dance, poetry, they would train their body, mind, and spirit, and then they would apply that to motion. So then they were passionate, they cared, they had that warrior spirit, and they had that good sort of natural combat balance that they could do anything that, you know, they needed to in the heat of combat, which is where things are most important. Life and death came down to everything for these ancient warriors. So then me, myself, and the stuff that I train is like, if it's good enough to save your life in the heat of battle, then imagine how much it can impact and benefit you in modern times, to where life and death isn't really the struggle, to where maybe competition of resources, whether or not you get your paycheck, but you don't really have to worry about death when you're going into combat setting. So imagine how powerful of a tool and a system that is, training-wise, performance-wise, putting yourself into those instances and then applying it in combat, that you're just gonna run roughshod through people. And that's exactly what it accomplished for me, to where, you know, if you see the footage, I was like a wild man, but I was also able to control the chaos and hone it into constantly rising above. Every time you reach a next level of competition, you take your lumps, you have to learn. Entered into high school, okay, you know, took my lumps, learning for a little while, then boom, rose above it. Got into college, took my lumps for a while, learned, boom, rose above it. Pros, huge lumps, a lot of learning curve after that, boom, rose above it. And then because there was no opportunity for growth and, you know, change by being able to have opportunities to do defense, then I got bored and I'm like, special teams is easy, conquered it, okay, I'm done, let's do something else. Human motion, you know, invigorating and enlivening the human animal, you know, the full holistic complex. And it is great for performance if you want to be an athlete, but it's also great to have that sort of essence and apply it to, I'm cracking the ice right now that I'm standing on. Oh man, I'm gonna move the camera. But it's great to apply it to anything else in life. Business, parenting, art, whatever it is. People like to act nice all the time, but life is still a competition of resources and ensuring survival. There's more than enough resources to go around for all the animals, yet they still compete. Why? They want to ensure their survival. So if you have a healthy, competitive mindset and balance towards what you're doing, it's working towards ensuring your survival in the competition, ensuring that you're doing enough to make sure that, you know, you get that paycheck or you have the ability to take care of your family. That's why people have taken Sun Tzu's The Art of War book and applied that to business practice. What used to be war now oftentimes is business negotiations, all that kind of stuff. The methodologies have changed, but the base format and formula has really remained the same in a lot of ways. And in the realm of competition and sport, which we have nowadays, which, you know, is for men to prove their worth, prove their muscle versus the other people, all the different stuff that's out there. I'm just looking at a giant raven walking off in the distance. It's like 3 feet tall. It's sort of taking my attention off the video. This is what it's about, and that's why I share the Equilibrium platform with you guys, is that it's just doing more, educating yourself, not just going in and trying to get big and get strong and get fast. By nature of the stuff that we're doing, you're gonna get big, strong, and fast, but you're also gonna build the other things that you're lacking with the adaptability and the playfulness and the creative thinking That's like in business meetings, creative thinking solutions, brainstorming, and people come up with creative ideas and solutions to accomplish a certain business task. We're doing the same things with movement and motion. Okay, you're lacking in this, you need to work on a little bit of this, but you also want to be really good at basketball, and you want to be good at football, or you want to be a tremendous martial artist. Let's work all that stuff together and get you there. That's what this is about. So if you have what it takes, come around. But if you don't, there's plenty of platforms and stuff out there that will allow you to happily fit in with the common whatever.